Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are here broadcasting live all the way from SoHum Mountain Healing Resort. And my name is Sandy. I am your Ayurvedic ambassador, and we're hosting these webinars on a monthly basis just to bring a little bit of more information to you about SoHum, about what we do here. And today I'm here with Micheal Shane, and he is our amazing chef. He specializes on vegetarian and vegan cuisine, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about where he actually sources all his ingredients and much more. But before we get started, let me just go ahead and hand it over to Micheal so he can introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his experience.
Yeah, so I'm Micheal. I am originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I moved here back in January, just as we were getting this property kind of up and running. I have mostly worked in fine dining, kind of mixed food experience, kind of all over the place, not really particularly vegetarian or vegan until coming here. So this has been really a deep dive into working just with vegetables and then learning Ayurveda as well. So it's been a lot of new and interesting ways to change things up for me personally. But
Nice. And we're going to dive deeper in just a second. So if you do have any questions, feel free to post them into the chat. So that way we can go through those as we're going through this live webinar. Also, let me know where you're dialing from. We love to see people from all over the place. I know that we got some emails ahead of time also from people in Europe, in Australia that were not able to attend, but they were really looking forward to the information that we were going to share here today. So feel free to post here. Oh, I see here already Germany. Welcome to the house, Germany. Let's see, Washington, D.C., Netherlands. Welcome. That's so beautiful. Atlanta. Wonderful. Yes, we love having you all here. Let's see, France. A lot of people from Europe. This is beautiful. Asheville, Germany, Fort Lauderdale. Barry, I just talked to Barry. Welcome, Barry. Great to see you here in the webinar. Thank you for joining. And I see a lot of familiar faces, so thank you for joining. And again, if Dallas, Texas, yes, so many beautiful people from all over the place. We really love, your company anytime that you join us here. So thank you again. All right, so we are going to be diving deep into the cuisine that we serve here at SoHum. And as you heard, we specialize here with Micheal on vegan and vegetarian. So tell us, Micheal, from a health perspective, like why vegan and vegetarian? There is a lot of paleo, there is a lot of, but here at SoHum is mainly that, as well as Ayurvedic friendly meals. So what can you tell us about vegan and vegetarian from a health perspective?
yeah, I mean, that primarily comes just from Dr. Lad and from our company in general. We generally operate just as a vegetarian company. I think when people primarily come here to do Panchakarma cleanses. So they come and stay with us for about a week long. They'll do a cleanse. There's all sorts of like body work they're getting done. They're taking herbs, they're eating food that's supporting them. And part of that is eating food that's really clean, really local, organic. It just helps kind of maintain the cleanse that they're trying to do here. It really helps keeps everything going smoothly for them.
Nice. Yeah. Yes. And we have seen that the majority of the people that ended up coming here are vegan or vegetarian, but that is not a requirement. So, if you eat any kind of food, the advice that we give when you're coming, because we are mainly a vegetarian facility, is that you use that as an opportunity to begin to detox, right? And to begin your journey as you're going through it, your Ayurvedic and Panchakarma journey. Now, one question that I get all the time is like, where do you get your products from? Where do you get your vegetables and fruits and we're obviously in Asheville, which is a beautiful place connected to nature. So what sources of food do you have?
Pretty much everything that we get produce-wise comes from local farmers. So I go to the farmers market at least once a week, and I have relationships with many of the farmers in the city, and they sort of help me with picking out what's best, what's in season, what's working right now. We try to, I mean, it really works well that we're not just generally operating seasonally, but it's really like week to week, what are they bringing us, you know? So that helps keep things really fresh, because that's a major component of Ayurveda, is eating food that is seasonally like available for you beyond just the like 4 seasons that we broadly think of, but even on a much smaller scale than that. So that's really great. We also source a lot of our spices and grains from Banyan, which is another one of our companies. And that's really great because they primarily have organic and fair trade. And so they're able to really control the quality of the food that's coming in, as well as the quality of the conditions for the workers. So that's something that's really important for us, is just where's the food coming from, who's growing it, are those conditions good for both the vegetables and for the people growing the vegetables. So
nice. And also supporting the local community as well, as you mentioned. It's just like having that connection to all the local farmers, and as well everything that is growing in that season. And you mentioned something really important, which is that seasonally, connection to the seasons. And that is an important part of our Ayurveda too, making sure that we connect with our circadian rhythm, to the seasons, to all the changes, the ups and downs that just naturally happen in nature. So can you tell us specifically right now, because we're in the fall season here in Asheville, what are some of the vegetables that you can find this time of the year, so people know what we're serving?
I mean, of course, you typically see a lot of winter squash. One thing that's great at the markets that we go to is they have a huge variety of squash. So we depend on that a lot. Much more diverse than just getting like butternut and stuff like that. Beyond that, I would say you'll see some like heavier greens. I'm still seeing some collard greens. There's a lot of root vegetables, celeriac, turnips, rutabaga, stuff like that.
Nice.
More of the hardier stuff's coming up. Yeah.
I know recently he made some gnocchi that it was out of this world. I couldn't even believe that it was vegan. So tell me about that gnocchi that you gave us.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different than normal gnocchi, in that when you're cleansing, you can't have white potato. So it's a sweet potato gnocchi. The menu is also gluten-free always. So that is usually mixed with rice flour and mung bean flour as well, and then fried with a bunch of herbs.
Nice. So that is another thing here, is that we don't just serve your typical, if you were to come for our Panchakarma, your typical Panchakarma, which is typically the khichdi, and that's what you traditionally have, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here, Micheal, along with Sneha and Nishita, have created an unbelievable menu for both the people that come for the Serenity retreat, as well as our Panchakarma retreat. So going into that, right, we offer these 2 different retreats here at SoHum. And one is a shorter stay, which is a 3-night and a 4-night. And then the Panchakarma is the full mind, body, and soul detox, that is 7 nights. And they both serve different type of food, right? So can you tell us about the difference between what we serve for the Serenity Retreat versus the Panchakarma?
Yeah, so a lot of that food is pretty similar in that it is always going to be vegetarian. It's always going to be vegan, except that we use a lot of ghee. That's really the only animal source that we use. So that can be very easily adapted to be vegan. That kind of, again, changes a lot just based on week to week what we're getting in. But they still follow pretty much the same strict parameters of Panchakarma, and that the food is always easy to digest. There's just a whole lot of parameters that go into that with what we can and can't use beyond just the general scope of Ayurveda. But all of that food is supporting people. It's really great. Some people kind of might look at that as like, oh, I have to come and eat vegan food all week, but it's really helpful for people because we're able to cater it to everyone, regardless of if they've got like diverticulitis or if they need to eat low FODMAP. We can kind of really work with anyone regardless of what sort of health issues they may have going on, and sort of craft that week around that for them to make it so that they're having an easy experience.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned the ghee, because the ghee is a big part of the panchakarmas. You know, is the before and the during. The before is that preparation and taking the ghee to help loosen up the toxins. So for those people that are fully vegan, there are alternatives for the ghee. So it could be flaxseed oil. We always, the beauty of Ayurveda and Panchakarma is that we definitely cater to the client needs, and we consider all that. So having those conversations ahead of time. And then you talked about those needs when it comes to, okay, if I have allergies, or if I have, for example, celiac, we have many clients that have that request and question. So how do you typically address that? How do you serve clients with specific nutritional needs?
It's pretty easy in that I started the menu out from a place that is broadly accessible to everyone. So by eliminating a lot of the major allergens just straight from the start, we don't really have to adjust too much. Whereas if you were relying heavily on like soy milk, or I don't know, any of the top major allergens, it would kind of throw everything off of the rhythm. But I think just from a design point in the beginning, I wrote it to be pretty easily accessible regardless of what people have going on. And then it might just be minor tweaks where it's like, oh, we're just not going to use sesame oil or sesame seeds this week. There's never any gluten or any like regular all-purpose flour, wheat flour in the kitchen ever. So that's never a concern, and for people that have celiacs. Yeah, so it's really not too much of an adaptation. It's just kind of working with people each week and seeing what we need to tweak for them.
Nice. And we always ask all of our clients as they are coming in, or before they come in, if they have any food allergies, if they have any food intolerance, so that way we can share with Micheal, and then Micheal can customize the dishes at that point in time. The same with peanuts, right? So how about if someone has peanut allergies? Because I know that question comes up a lot. So,
and peanuts, actually, we don't use at all. They are considered to be more aggravating from an Ayurvedic perspective. So that's just a nut that I don't generally use in the kitchen at all. If I am going to use a nut, it's typically either like sunflower seeds or macadamia nuts, or skinned almonds is usually the go-to. And those are pretty generally a little bit more accessible to people that have nut allergies. And if we do have to avoid them altogether, that's also not too difficult for us to do. Yeah.
Nice. So as you can see, always adapting and always looking for the best nutrition possible to be able to provide it to you for the entire time that you're here, whether you're for the 3-night, 4-night, or 7 nights. The purpose is just to serve you with the best food possible, seasonally, seasonal food. Wonderful. So let's take a look at what you have here, because he's got 2 different dishes that he's going to be sharing with us. And why don't you tell us a little bit about them? Which one is that first dish that you have?
So first up here, we've got khichdi. This is the most basic staple food that you would get if you went and did Panchakarma just about anywhere. You can pretty much bet that you're going to have khichdi. Again, traditionally, this would be all that you would be eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the most part while you're cleansing. And I find that people come and end up actually enjoying it. Usually they're a little burnt out on their own khichdi by the time they get here, but having something that's a little bit more flavored, got more veggies in it, stuff like that, it provides a little bit of a variation for them. But yeah, that's kind of the foundation of Panchakarma right there.
Got it. Now, for those people that do not know what khichdi is, can you tell us what goes into the khichdi?
Yeah, so on the base level, it is yellow mung dal, which kind of looks like a little lentil, and that is cooked with a bunch of spices. Those are usually like cumin, coriander, fennel, turmeric, and ginger. Then there's always carrot and celery, and then different veggies, just depending week to week what we're getting. Those are cooked down with rice to a different consistency, again, depending on the season. Right now it's winter, so it's colder. So we're serving things that are a little bit more soupy. Whereas in the summer, when it's warmer, we'll serve them a little bit more like a traditional dal, which is a bit thicker.
Nice,
like a sauce.
nice. And before we go into the next dish, that is a fantastic point because one of the beauties, again, of Ayurveda is really looking at the time of the year that we are, the season that we're in. So making sure that the dishes that we provide are actually nourishing your body the most proper way. So if it is cold outside, like it is right now here in Asheville, we're looking at serving those warmer, more fulfilling type of food. Also, as we said, like, whatever is seasonally provided. So that is absolutely what the dishes are doing here, right? Nourishing our body. And there is also that aspect, not only from just eating food, but also what is the food doing to us? What are those dishes and those herbs doing to us? So you mentioned that khichdi has certain herbs. Can you repeat again the herbs that are in the khichdi?
Yeah, so that is usually cumin, coriander, and fennel. And then there's often like mustard seed, turmeric, and all of those are, for the most part, tridoshic, meaning that they're kind of lowering all of your doshas, bringing everything back into balance. So it's, from a starting point, just a really like easy food to digest, a really good choice when you're cleansing.
Nice, nice. And also to be able to break down those into nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that your body needs in order to function correctly, and also to ignite your digestive fire. I know that we serve ginger pickled here, and sometimes we give that to clients before they begin to eat, to ignite that digestive fire, to make sure that they're processing that food and transforming what they're putting into their mouth into the nutrients, the vitamins, and the minerals that their body needs. So now we have another dish, and why don't you tell us what is in this dish?
Yeah, so how it works is khichdi is available all day long when you're here, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there's a second option that we create. Those second dishes are also going to be supporting you while you're cleansing. So it's not that it's necessarily better or worse than khichdi, but it provides a bit of a mix up, so you're not just eating the same thing over and over every day. And those menus change day to day also, so you're getting completely different food all throughout the week. This dish here is a little roasted millets. There is a carrot and dill little chutney, and then on top of that there's some roasted mustard greens and a winter squash fritter. So again, that kind of just provides a little bit of a change up, where if you traditionally did this, you would just be eating the same thing over and over again.
Nice, nice. And what kind of herbs did you use on this one?
This had a lot of the similar ones. There was I started with a fenugreek, so I had to balance that out because that raises pitta. But I put in the usual ones: coriander, cumin, fennel, turmeric, lots of ginger. The fritters themselves have some dill and fresh oregano and rosemary in them as well.
Nice. All I know is anytime that we're walking around here, it's lunchtime, even breakfast and dinner, all the smells from all the herbs is just unbelievable. So Micheal, I know that you have been teaching some cooking classes here, and this has been as a result from client requests. When they come here and they taste the food, they're like, I gotta learn how to make this. I want to replicate this at home. So tell us a little bit about those classes that you've been providing here during our clients' stay.
Yeah, I teach those when we have time to do that throughout the week. We'll do one of those. They are usually focused on setting yourself up for when you get back home. I find that people often have a difficulty, and they'll come into a cleanse, and then it's really easy to sort of slide back into your normal routine as soon as you get back in the regular world. So those classes kind of focus on like how to set up your kitchen, how to sort of start your way into Ayurvedic cooking without having to do too many like math problems and figure out what you need to balance out. But just kind of like a base level, how to get yourself started in the right track. And then give them some places to do some research and stuff like that too.
Nice, nice. And I know this is something that our clients really appreciate, because obviously you come here for 7 days, you go through the process of detoxifying your mind, your body, and your soul. And then your question is probably like, what do I do now that I go home? And we do support that process, like I said before, during and after, with your integration. And we make recommendations as to what you should be doing, eating, based on the doshas that the Ayurvedic practitioner was able to share with you, that are your dominant doshas, and how to bring your body back into balance. Now, you did mention that a lot of the herbs that we use are herbs from Banyan Botanicals.
Mhm.
So can you tell us a little bit about which ones are the ones that you use from Banyan Botanicals? Because I do know that a lot of our clients actually also buy from Banyan Botanicals. So tell us, so that way they can look.
Yeah, so in this dish, it was primarily all of the spices that I listed. So the turmeric, the coriander, mustard seed, fenugreek, all of that came from them. Pretty much any sort of dried spice, I primarily buy directly from them. Sometimes I'll also get mung dal from them and basmati rice as well. All of the fresh herbs like the oregano, rosemary, thyme, that all comes from the farmers markets.
Nice, nice. And the other thing that we send also when you come here for Panchakarma is the pre-Panchakarma kit.
Yes.
Which also is a box that go all the way to your house 2 weeks before your arrival. And then you get that ghee and you get some herbs, and those are sourced from Banyan Botanicals as well. All right, so let me see if I see any questions so far. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in here. So we got Jill. She says, "Hi, Micheal. I live locally. Are there any dates and times you serve meals to the public with reservations, and is a catering offer now, or would it be available in the future?"
That's a great question. At the moment, we are not open to the public, but that is something we are looking to explore next year. And to your point, we might be doing some different pop-ups. There might be some more things going on to get us sort of a little bit down the mountain next year. So keep your eyes open. Yeah.
One thing to that, Jill, is that we just launched our membership, as well as our app is coming up. And one of the things that we're looking with the launch of the app is creating a section for SoHum, so we can have Micheal share more of these recipes. So if that is something that you're interested in, is something to be in the lookout for, because you're going to have that own app. You're going to have Micheal on your phone, basically. You're going to be able to see him and see the recipes in there. And actually, I think there was another question there about that, which is, can we receive the recipes? Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for a book, right?
Yeah, so when you come here, I always send you home with usually like 3 or 4 recipes that have just been lightly tested out. But as Sandy just mentioned, I am currently in the process of writing a book. So keep your eyes open for that. That should be coming out. I mean, it's still in the very early stages, but hopefully soon.
Nice. And actually, I slightly got ahead of the question that I just saw here from Veruska. She was, "Hi, Micheal, Veruska here," if you remember.
Oh, I remember Veruska, yeah.
She was asking about any updates on the book. So now I have the update on the book. Like I said, I mean, the book will be coming up, and also not only the book, but also the ability to get all these recipes and go see Micheal on the app as soon as it comes up. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see, Tatiana. "I would love to participate in online cooking classes. I live in Las Vegas and would love to learn for you distantly. Are you planning to have those available?"
Yep, again, all coming next year. We're looking at sort of launching more of those engagements with people, regardless of where you are. Sneha and I kind of want to set up a little series and do some online cooking classes, like Ayurvedic wellness, all that stuff's coming. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned the name Sneha, because she just walked in. We're streaming live from SoHum, so I'm going to invite her to just join us here. So if you have any Ayurvedic specific questions, if you want to come in here, This is our dear Sneha. We also have clients popping in. So that's the beauty of it. It's like you can be here and you can watch us as we do these live streamings. Thank you so much for joining.
It's a pleasure and honor.
Yeah. So Sneha, can you tell us from an Ayurvedic perspective, what is the main focus for the nutrition that we have here, we serve here at SoHum?
Great question. So we're working together to really develop, in Ayurveda, it's all about Agni. It's all about digestion, because we could be eating the most nutritious foods, the most wholesome foods, most organic, clean foods that we talk about. But if my digestion can't handle it, then it doesn't mean anything. It just turns into toxins.
Yeah.
So we're really focused around that to really help balance that digestive, so then you can eat properly. And we always say, I was just talking with someone today, we don't like to deny anything. You may have to like postpone it for a little bit, but if that Agni can get built and it can be really strong, then you don't have to deny anything. You can digest anything.
Nice, beautiful. And one of the reasons why I really wanted you on this one, I promise you, we're going to do more webinars, and we'll also have with the Sneha and Nishita, so they can talk specifically about the Ayurvedic benefits when you connect with the food element. But can you tell us then, once you have connected with your Agni and that digestive fire has been built, then does that mean that you can pretty much eat anything? Or it depends on the person, depends on the dosha, because we get that question a lot, like, how do I know what to eat?
You got it right.
Yeah.
It does depend on the person, right?
Very.
In Ayurveda, we say everything is medicine or everything is poison. It depends on the person. So then you can learn also, while you're here, you can learn your dosha. Like, what is balance for me? And get an idea. And Micheal does a wonderful job incorporating all of that stuff in all his food. And then we have like educational pieces, so you learn your dosha. So then it's more about education. It's not about, okay, here's this list of 50 things you can't eat, right? It's more about, what's your dosha? Understand that. And then how do you modify that, right? Because you're going to travel, you're going to see friends, you're going to go to events, you're going to have work stuff, you're going to have social engagements. And wherever you are in the world, it's not like all the ingredients are the same, right? So if you start understanding the qualities of ingredients and the qualities that are good for your dosha, then you can determine what to eat whenever, and you're not dependent on like this list that you're constantly like flipping through. I can eat this, I can't eat that kind of thing.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, because I mean, most of the times, like, that's one of the key questions. We were talking about it earlier. Like, after people leave, like, how do I keep up with this? How do I integrate? How do I continue this lifestyle? And I think the key element is what you just said, is the education. You don't only learn about your doshas, but you learn about what you shouldn't do based on your dosha, and then how you can adapt that to your daily life. Because life does happen. It's just getting back into that. Yeah.
And that's the primary thing I tell people in the classes too, is that it's not that you can't eat a specific thing anymore, but it's that you just need to work with it, so you might have to cook it differently, you might have to use different spices when you're cooking it. So it's not quite as restrictive as people often think it is.
Beautifully said. Yeah, because the biggest compliment we get, right, is Micheal's food is
It is. People are already asking for books and recipes, and actually online classes. Someone from Las Vegas here said, can I watch some of those classes? So I already let everyone know that the app is coming up, and that we will be doing some specialty videos about all the cooking. Now, I do know that you two were the ones that created the menu together. So can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the menu that you created? Let's talk about first specifically about Panchakarma, and then we'll go into the Serenity.
Yeah, I mean, I think primarily it was just mostly based on what the needs were for the guests and for the cleanse that they're doing. And then beyond that, it was just, what can I get from the farmers, not going to like Sam's Club and shopping, like just what are my ingredients that are here right now growing, and what will actually work to serve the guests while they're cleansing. And then beyond that, it was, how do we serve that in a way that feels like it is elevated and they're not just eating, something out of a pot all day long, or
That's another key differentiator. Here is not a buffet style. You're not going through a line and just serving, but you have these beautifully prepared meals with love and care. And then the dishes are placed on your table in a beautiful manner and presentation as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say also is, you know, food is part of our society, is part of our culture. And when you're cleansing, you're detoxing, that is something that you're looking forward to. And cleansing and detoxing doesn't mean you have to suffer. I tell that to all my clients. Like, it doesn't mean suffering through something. And we want people to understand that cleansing and detoxing, you can still eat nutritiously, you can still eat delicious food. So we're showing them, but yet it is appropriate, exactly what Micheal said, like, to what is the need of the person. So we want to make sure we do that properly.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much. We will do more of these webinars. Upon your request, feel free to send us emails with the type of topics that you would like for us to cover, with any specific dishes, you know, recipes that you would like. We will be more than happy to serve you and to create these webinars on a monthly basis for you. Let's see if we have any last minute questions here. Does Ayurveda sell King, or do you know, oops, this one that went down, know where I can purchase it? I know Banyan sells it. Okay. Jill, do you know the answer to that?
I believe that Banyan does sell Hing. You'd have to look on the website there, and you want to look out too. Some Hing does contain wheat as well. So just something to keep an eye out. I can't remember entirely if they do sell it, but I would say more than likely they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have another question here from Utah. Definitely would love to see the khichdi recipe on a webinar. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Maybe we will go into the kitchen and we will make khichdi, so that way you can learn how to make it and you can share the ingredients and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We have another one here. Okay. So we're getting here towards the end. We really appreciate you participating in this webinar and getting to know Micheal, getting to know about the dishes that we serve here. Once again, if there is any topics that you would like to know about, just let us know. We do have the topic for next month in December, and it's going to be specifically about the Living Wisdom membership that we just launched. And we're going to get all of the details about what is included, how can you sign up for it, and we're going to be doing that with Brenda Devani. She is not only an Ayurvedic practitioner, but she focuses on women's health. So if you're interested in participating in that, make sure you keep an eye open for the emails that we're going to be sending. And if you want to sign up for a Panchakarma, feel free to do so. We have an offer right now for $700 off if you sign up between now and the end of the year to come here to SoHum Mountain Healing Resort anytime between January, February, and March. That's also the time when Dr. Ladd arrives back here in the United States, and he will be taking care of clients as well. There is only 5 openings per week with him, but you also have people like Sneha, that her expertise, she was trained by Dr. Ladd, studied from Dr. Ladd, and she is one of our Ayurvedic practitioners. We have Matish, we have Brenda. So feel free to email us, call us, and get ready for sign up for a new year, new you. Once again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, Micheal.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.